Today, we celebrate the UCR School of Medicine class of 2018, and we're pleased that you have joined us tonight. While we're waiting, please take note of the following. Restrooms are located in the event foyer to the left. The first aid station is located in the event foyer to the right. If you have family members or friends who are unable to join us this evening, the ceremony will be webcast live. A link to the webcast can be found on the commencement homepage at www.commencement.ucr.edu. Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin shortly. At this time, we ask that you turn your cell phones off or to silent mode. A professional photographer will take photos of each graduate as they cross the stage, so please be mindful of guests seated behind you. And do not stand up at your seat or attempt to move toward the platform area or into the aisles to take photographs or video recordings. Thank you for your cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to introduce the UCR School of Medicine, Class of 2018. Please rise for the procession. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Mark and Pam Rubin, Dean of UCR School of Medicine, Deborah Dees.
Good evening, graduates, parents, family members, friends, and distinguished guests. Welcome to UCR School of Medicine, Hippocratic Oath Ceremony and Commencement for the class of 2018. To begin the ceremony, please join us in singing the national anthem. Please take your seats. Class of 2018, this is your moment, a culmination of all your educational experience leading to the Doctor of Medicine degree. As you know, the creation of this medical school took a village. Innumerable community members and visionary leaders came together to make this school a reality for inland Southern California and for you, our future physicians. I would like to recognize and thank a few individuals present whose leadership and vision played an integral role in making UCR School of Medicine a reality. As I call your name, please stand so that we can express our gratitude for your efforts. Dr. Thomas Hyder, a member of the UCR Board of Trustees, and Ms. Salma Hyder. The Honorable Mark Takano, Congressional Representative for the 41st District. The Honorable Jose Medina, California State Assembly. We are also honored by the presence of many community leaders, supporters, and volunteers who continue to contribute their vision and insights so that we continue our path of excellence in education, research, clinical care, and service to the community. Thank you. I would now like to introduce those members of the university leadership not coming to the podium this evening. Please stand as I call your name. Joining us from UCR leadership, Associate Chancellor Christine Victorino. Vice Chancellor, Business and Administrative Services, Ron Coley. Vice Chancellor, University Advancement, Peter Hayashida. University Librarian, Stephen Mandeville Gamble. Interim Vice Provost, Undergraduate Education, Richard Cardula. Chair of the Riverside Division of Academic Senate and Grand Marshal for this ceremony, Dylan Rodriguez. Miriam Lamb, Associate Vice Chancellor, Diversity and Inclusion. From the School of Medicine, Senior Associate Dean for Research, David Lowe. Associate Dean for Clinical Medical Education, Andrew Alexander. Associate Dean for Finance and Administration, Louise Borda. Associate Dean for Assessment and Evaluation, Kendrick Davis. Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Irina Ethel. Chair of Clinical Sciences and Internal Medicine, Ramdas Pai. Senior Counsel, Tamala Choma. We also have many members of the School of Medicine faculty with us. Will the faculty please rise? Thank you all for joining us for this celebration. Please be seated. Graduates, on behalf of the administration, faculty, and staff of UC Riverside, I extend my warmest congratulations to you. Class of 2018, this graduation and Hippocratic Oath ceremony marks the next step in your journey. For some of you, this has been a lifelong dream, and for others, it was an aha discovery somewhere along the way. For all of you, reaching this point is a testament to your dedication, persistence, and the support and encouragement of your family, close friends, as well as faculty who taught you and the staff who provided support. Tonight, we celebrate your achievement and extend our best wishes for your journey and lifelong learning yet to come. Of course, you will soon take your next step, residency training. You already know this, but I must take a moment to brag about you to our audience. 100% of our graduating students matched into a residency training program. This is a phenomenal result, and it is a testament to your training and your dedication to your studies and clinical training, and to the commitment of our faculty to your success. Nearly 40% of you will stay in inland Southern California for residency training. And 80% of you will stay in California. You are fulfilling the medical school's mission to address our physician workforce needs. Among you are members of the Distinguished Hyder Scholars Program. You have set the bar high for classes that will follow you in the future. You're pioneers and ambassadors of the UCR School of Medicine, a community-based medical school with the audacious goal of improving the health of people who live in our region. With your passion for our mission, we were inspired to deliver the best possible educational experience. Many of you have earned special awards and scholarships as indicated in the program. Each of you demonstrated extraordinary leadership attributes that we recognized in you when we admitted you to the UCR School of Medicine. And each of you embody the values of our medical school: integrity, inclusion, innovation, excellence, accountability, and respect. We know that you have a bright future and you will represent the UCR School of Medicine well. Class of 2018, we are so very proud of you. Congratulations. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the 9th Chancellor of UC Riverside, Kim Wilcox.
Thanks, Dean Dees, and congratulations. In just a few minutes, we'll be calling you doctor. Doctor, from the Latin docere, that has nothing to do with medicine or curing disease. Docere is to teach. At the very heart, the term doctor is not about disease. It's not about patients. It's about teaching. And any great teacher will tell you, to be a great teacher, you first have to be a great student. What you learn today is the latest information, but you'll be practicing for decades rather. And you're going to have to learn new stuff. So to be an effective teacher or physician, you're going to have to be a great student. And as a practitioner, your colleagues on the other side of the aisle will tell you, yes, you'll be someone who diagnoses and cures disease, but you'll also be a teacher. You'll be a teacher of future medical students like yourself, just as these fine colleagues are. But you'll also be a teacher at the bedside, in the examination room, across the desk. You'll be helping your patients not just feel better and be healthier, but learn about themselves and learn about disease and learn about the world that they're facing. So, yes, you're going to be a doctor in the cure the disease sense, but you're also becoming a doctor in the teacher and student sense. And that, I believe, I'm as proud of, number one, and will likely serve you very, very well in the years ahead. But as the dean said, this is a commencement where we get to call you doctor. It's also a chance when you're going to take the Hippocratic Oath, a sacred oath that you'll take in front of everyone in this room. Now, a little more Latin. Sacred comes from the root sacrare, which has nothing to do with God. It means to set apart, to be distinct from. You're going to take an oath that sets you apart from all others. Only you and your colleagues in medicine have taken that oath and have become a group that's set apart in the eyes of society, to do special and important things. But I want to focus on the other word, oath, sacred oath. So an oath is a promise. And we've all made promises through our lives, promises to our little brother, promises to our mother. We kept some, we didn't keep some. You're taking a sacred oath tonight. Who are you making the promise to? Are you making the promise to your parents, to your loved ones? Are you making a promise to your colleagues, to your faculty members, to society? I would suggest you're making a promise to yourself. You're the only one that's going to know if you hold true to that sacred promise. You're making a promise to yourself to be and act and do in special ways. And I'm also proud to be here tonight to watch you make that promise to yourself, so that as you maintain your role as curer and teacher and student, that you stay true to the values that you swore to here tonight. I'm honored to be part of this university and be able to welcome students like you into the profession of medicine, and I wish you all the best. Godspeed.
Thank you, Chancellor Wilcox. It is now my pleasure to introduce our Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor, Cynthia LaRive.
Congratulations, class of 2018. You have excelled in a rigorous and stimulating MD curriculum that included block courses, the longitudinal ambulatory care experience, doctoring, clinical skills, anatomy, clinical rotations, electives, and selectives. You have demonstrated your mastery of the skills required of a physician in final exams, OSCEs, and the National Board of Examiners Step 1 and Step 2 exams. You have distinguished your selflessness in service through the Riverside Free Clinic, the San Bernardino Free Clinic, and numerous community health fairs. And you have brought great distinction to UC Riverside. Your family and friends, the community, and the faculty of the School of Medicine have all contributed to today's achievement. Our next participants, so I think I'm missing a page, but I will just say congratulations to everybody, and thank you for all the parents, the family, and the friends that have supported you today.
Thank you, Provost LaRive. Our next participant represents the alumni of the University of California, Riverside. Barbara Kerr, UCR, class of 1968, is a board member and chair of the Advocacy Committee for the UCR Alumni Association. She earned her bachelor's degree in English literature and her teaching credential from Cal State Long Beach in 1969. Her career in education spanned 40 years. As a kindergarten teacher and first grade teacher, she was elected to the California Teachers Association Board of Directors in 1985 and went on to become its president. I am pleased to present Ms. Barbara Kerr to provide remarks on behalf of all UCR alumni.
On behalf of the UCR Alumni Association and more than 110,000 alumni, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome our class of 2018 graduates to the ranks of the countless successful and accomplished individuals who have passed through these halls. And now I'm going to ask each of you to look around. No, I'm serious. Look around, look for your family, look for your friends. Okay, that's good. You know, you're not going to have another experience quite like this. You're going to have other achievements, obviously, many other achievements. But when you look back on your life, this is a day you're going to remember. And your family and your friends are here with you. And it's the culmination of a journey that you have taken. You're going to have many more. Oh, you have so many places to go and things to do, and some of them you can't even imagine. But this one, I want you to have in your mind. Make no mistake, this is indeed a significant accomplishment. For you to have arrived at this juncture, you likely put in some long and strenuous hours. Yes. You also had friends that you worked with and who helped you. You had the inspiration of a teacher and the support of your family. But remember, you navigated your way. You had to have the strength to do this. Don't underestimate that fact, because you were a big part of this. And now you are going to go on with this degree. You're going on your next journey. But as you continue to grow and advance, remember the impact that your alma mater had on your life. Who you will become will reflect on UCR. Your experiences have helped to shape who you are today and will always be a source of pride and accomplishment. As UCR continues to rise in prominence, so too will the value of your degree. And from this day forward, you will be graduates of UCR. There are certain privileges and there are certain other things that you need to do as a graduate. You need to remember that those of us that came before you, we have worked hard to help you to get where you are. And as you progress, you will need to do the same. On behalf of the Alumni Association, the 110,000 alumni, congratulations and welcome to our family.
Thank you, Ms. Kerr. I now ask Dr. Emma Simmons, our Associate Dean for Student Affairs, to the podium. Dr. Simmons will introduce our student speaker.
Thank you, Dean Dees. It is my pleasure to introduce this evening's speaker. Pooja Siddharth Desai earned the great honor of serving as the student speaker for tonight's Commencement and Hippocratic oath ceremony. Not only is she an outstanding student academically, she has been deeply involved in health policy making on the local, state, and national levels. She is active in the Riverside County Medical Association, having served as student representative, and she served as chair of the medical student section of the California Medical Association. I must say that while she was in medical school, she also served on the grievance committee, and it was a wonderful pleasure to serve on that committee with her. Also in medical school, she conducted research on barriers to gender equality in medicine and mentorship in medical education. Next month, Pooja will begin her residency training in internal medicine at UCLA. Following her training, she plans to return back to inland Southern California to practice medicine and to continue advocacy on behalf of our patients, of her patients. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Pooja Desai.
Everybody? Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Simmons. Chancellor Wilcox, Provost LaRive, Associate Deans, faculty, staff, friends, and family, and all of you here on the stage as well, who I couldn't mention, thank you so much for this honor. I wasn't always sure I'd make it to this day. I feared for my life during first year when I joined the School of Medicine intramural football team and found myself facing down undergrad frat boys on the field. I almost died of embarrassment another time when Dr. Davis backslapped me so hard that he burped me. I questioned my tolerance for bodily fluids after I passed out while assisting a C-section. And I re-questioned my tolerance for bodily fluids when a patient who hadn't had a bowel movement in days needed a manual fecal disimpaction, and I drew the short straw. For those of you who don't know what a fecal disimpaction is, feel free to ask your graduate after the ceremony. But in all seriousness, to the class of 2018, congratulations. There is no better group out there. You are powerful women, you are strong, thoughtful men, you are spouses, and some of you are even parents. But above all, you are all fighters. If you look, not all medical schools look like us. Not all are as racially, ethnically, sexually, or socioeconomically diverse as ours. Until coming to Riverside, I didn't understand the value of this diversity. I came expecting to learn biochemistry and pharmacology, which I did and immediately forgot after step 1. But the most important lessons I actually learned were from you all. Many of you have faced challenges and adversity, I know, that are hard for me to imagine. And yet, today we sit here together on the same stage of the same ceremony, celebrating the same accomplishment. Incredible, I applaud you. Thank you all for showing me a picture of a real America, teaching me what real struggle, grit, and academic excellence truly means. And thank you to UCR for walking the walk and actualizing diversity and educational equality throughout its entire institution. The last 4 years have undoubtedly been dramatic for us and for the country. We saw racism manifest in Charlottesville. We saw natural disasters in Houston and Puerto Rico, the Thomas Fire, mass shootings in Las Vegas, Florida, and even just a few miles away here in San Bernardino. Tumultuous politics made us question our sense of identity and belonging in this country. When I reflected to make sense of all of this, to find some kind of consolation for my emotions, I didn't have to look very far. I found it here in Riverside, in my amazing diverse peers who work tirelessly every day for their equally diverse patients. You were completely unafraid of those who are different from you, and I think that that is a lesson that we can all learn. But we can and must keep doing better. I remember a time on my trauma surgery rotation, my team got a page, Level A Trauma. The 60 characters on the beeper read, motor vehicle accident, car versus pedestrian. The patient that arrived was unthinkable, a teenager, just a kid, who had been hit by a truck that didn't see him at a crosswalk. He was bleeding into his brain, bleeding into his lungs. He didn't look like a kid anymore. Over the ensuing days, I learned a devastating story that for years, the residents of his city had been asking his local government to put up a stop sign at that crosswalk. They recognized the danger of this crosswalk so close to a school and how the sunlight blinded drivers going through it. Yet their calls had gone unheard until this awful moment, and now our patient barely clung to life. This story shows us an opportunity, almost a necessity, for physicians to get involved in something beyond direct patient care. Imagine if the doctors who treated him wrote to or spoke in front of his local government about what they had seen, his irreversible brain damage, the total devastation to him and his family. It seems impossible that a stop sign would not go up immediately. Many of the healthcare problems we think of seem too huge, too unsurmountable to engage in. But whether it's a stop sign or federal healthcare reform, my advocacy mentors have taught me this. No matter the scale, if you push yourself into the conversation, people will listen. In a few moments, we will receive diplomas bequeathing the medical doctor degrees that we have dreamt about for years. No matter where we've come from, what we've overcome to get here, we get to share this privileged degree. And we're also given great responsibility to engage, talk to, listen to, and fight for those different from us. Because like my favorite internet distraction, Ellen DeGeneres, said, if you take away the labels, you realize that we are far more alike than we are different. Faculty, staff, administrators, thank you for building this school and allowing us to serve the Inland Empire. Families and friends, thank you for everything you've sacrificed to get us here today. And my peers, the UCR School of Medicine class of 2018, thank you for being the most incredible people, friends, and now doctors I have ever known. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Desai. It is my pleasure to now introduce this evening's speaker. A native of Southern California, Dr. Erica Swartz graduated receiving her medical doctorate degree from Brown University. Dr. Erica Swartz was promoted to her current rank of Rear Admiral in the United States Coast Guard in 2015. She is Director of Health Safety and Work Life for the Coast Guard, a position in which she is responsible for the healthcare system of 41 clinics and 150 sick bays. Rear Admiral Swartz oversees child care programs and food delivery services onshore as well as afloat. She also manages prevention and response programs in substance use disorders and sexual assault, as well as health promotion. In addition to her responsibilities in the Department of Homeland Security, Rear Admiral Swartz is an expert in healthcare policy. She developed force health protection guidance for numerous operations, including Hurricanes Katrina and Rita, the 2009 H1N1 pandemic, Operation Unified Response, the 2010 Haiti earthquake, and the Ebola outbreak in West Africa. She has received 2 meritorious service medals, and she was recognized by the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Health Affairs by being honored as one of the Military Health System Female Physicians of the Year. Please join me in welcoming Rear Admiral Erica Swords.
So I drew the short straw and I had to follow Pooja. This is unfortunate. You're going to be much more entertained by what you just heard. I'm sorry, Pooja. This is this is a true honor to be here. Chancellor Wilcox, Dean Dees, distinguished faculty, students, family, friends. I am truly honored to be part of this momentous occasion. I really do want to extend my hearty congratulations to the soon-to-be graduates of the medical school class of 2018. You know, when I was preparing my remarks, I looked in the mirror and I said, I cannot believe that it's been 20 years since I graduated from medical school. All the die in the world couldn't convince myself that it's been 20 years. 20 years ago, I sat where you are today, ready to change the world, eager to become a disciplined practitioner of the sacred art of medicine. Now, there are a number of stories that I can share with you about my storied medical career, but the story that I would like to share with you this evening is the story of my first medical school patient, and I'm going to call him GS. GS lay in the hospital bed alone. GS had no visitors and had very limited interaction with the hospital staff. He had several purplish-red blotches all over his body. The large blotches on his face coalesced, forming a mask-like appearance. As I mentioned, GS was the very first patient I had in medical school. I was confident in my knowledge of pathophysiology, and I was ready to hone my medical clinical skills. As I was entering GS's room with the attending physician, the residents, the nursing staff, I wondered to myself what medical condition this patient had and why the medical staff spoke in such hushed tones about him. Even though the patient was not in isolation, he was treated as though he was. The medical staff double-gloved before they touched him. 2 nurses refused to take care of him, and the technician shook like a glove as he was starting his IV. I overheard the gastroenterologist say that GS had numerous lesions in his GI tract and there was nothing more that he could do. When I was finally able to speak to GS, I found out that GS was dying of AIDS. Those blotches were KS lesions, lesions that had spread throughout his entire body. GS was completely alone. His family had abandoned him, his friends had treated him like a pariah, and the medical staff didn't even want to touch him. Now, the first thing I did as a third-year medical student was I held his hand, and I listened to him. For 14 days, I learned about his medical condition, and most importantly, I learned about him. I learned that he loved chocolate and he had a fear of dogs. I learned that his favorite author was Samuel Clemens, AKA Mark Twain, and his favorite quote was, 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things that you did not do than by the things that you did. And on the 15th day, GS died, and he died alone. When I think of GS as my first clinical patient and where medicine was over 20 years ago, it was as though we were in the dark ages back then. But medicine has come a long way. 20 years ago, contracting HIV was a death sentence. It had a life expectancy of just a few months. Today, those diagnosed are expected to live an additional 50 or more years due to the development of highly active antiretroviral therapy, otherwise known as HAART. An individual diagnosed with HIV today, if they follow HIV management and care, they are less likely to die of AIDS. There is hope, there is information, and there is effective treatment. There may be still fear and stigma, but there is much more acceptance and care. There was a recent article from Medscape entitled HIV and AIDS, 20 Years of Science. The article stated that the scientific achievements in HIV research in the past 20 years have been formidable, to include the development of blood tests for HIV and increased knowledge of the molecular virology, epidemiology, and pathogenesis of this virus. The article stated that the pandemic of HIV infection, the cause of AIDS, is clearly the defining medical and public health issue of our generation. Effective therapies and tools of prevention have been developed that have provided enormous benefits to individuals and communities in resource-rich countries and increasingly also in resource-poor countries. The collective output of the HIV and AIDS research community has been prodigious. More than 125,000 papers related to HIV and AIDS are cataloged in the PubMed database of the National Library of Medicine. Now, beyond advances in HIV/AIDS research, other advances since I graduated from medical school include treatment of hepatitis C with oral antiviral agents, implementation of electronic health records by over 80% of medical providers, use of statins for secondary prevention, the development of the Cancer Genome Atlas for individualized medicine, and the advancement of palliative care and many other advancements. The Institute of Medicine observed that between the healthcare that we now have and the healthcare that we could have lies not just a gap, but a chasm. Advances in technology have in fact closed that gap. You graduates are standing at the precipice of a new age in medicine. Whether it's personalized medicine or precision medicine, growing organs in laboratories, artificial intelligence, many of these advances will promise a better future for our patients, the healthcare system, and for all of humanity. I ask you, where are we going to be 20 years from today? Despite innovations in medicine, I hope you never forget the basic reason why we all became physicians: to experience the joy of healing those who seek our help. We must always remember that warmth, sympathy, and understanding should outweigh the surgeon's knife or the chemist's drug. When you take the Hippocratic Oath this evening, you will swear to uphold these ethical standards. Over 20 years ago, GS helped me define the type of physician that I wanted to be. I wanted to be a physician that prevented diseases wherever I could. I joined the Navy and I focused on preventive medicine and population health because I wanted to make sure that I could protect, promote, and maintain health and well-being to prevent disease, disability, and death. When I transferred from the Navy to the Public Health Service and served in the Coast Guard, I served as their preventive medicine chief as my first assignment. And I recall a Coast Guard active duty member who was diagnosed with HIV informed me that he was inspired by the deliberate care of his medical team. He felt cared for, he felt empowered. He knew he had a team of medical professionals who cared for him and who were there for him. And this was affirmation that we in medicine had come a long way from my first patient 20 years ago as a third-year medical student. We have come a long way in 20 years, and we will continue on our journey in the advancement of medicine, always keeping our patients at the center. I know you will all continue on the path of being ethical and competent physicians. Your dedication and your belief in yourselves have brought you to this very moment. Now, before I close my remarks, I'd like to share one other story with you, a very personal story. When I was about in 7th grade, my guidance counselor met with me, and she asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I knew exactly what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I shared this with the pre-med students this morning when we had a discussion about my career. I knew that I loved the human body and that I wanted to be a biomedical engineer that had a medical doctorate. I was very clear about this. And so I proceeded to tell her in my 7th grade way that I wanted to be a biomedical engineer with a medical doctorate. My guidance counselor, she sighed, she adjusted her glasses, and she said to me, "Erica, that's very ambitious, but don't you know that females and minorities don't enter those fields. You have a great command of the English language. I recommend that you go into journalism. Now, for the journalists out there, there's nothing wrong with journalism, but I didn't want to be a journalist. And I remember going home that day, and I remember having a heavy heart, and I had tears in my eyes, and I spoke with my mother, and I told her, I said, this is what happened. She doesn't think that I should be doing this. And my mom proceeded to tell me a story about the elephants and the rope, and I'd like to share this story with you. There was a gentleman who walked through an elephant camp, and I'm not sure what an elephant camp is, but it's a camp full of elephants. And he noticed that these elephants had these ropes attached to one of their legs. And he thought, these are very large beasts. Why aren't these animals running amok through the streets, ripping off the rope because they're so large? Why are they just standing still? And so he's walking through the camp and he sees one of the trainers. And he says, hey, can you explain to me why these elephants haven't just burst through this rope and what's going on here? And so the trainer said to him, he laughed and said, we've had these elephants since they were babies. And what we've done is when they were babies, they had a similar rope tied to their leg. And when they were smaller, try as they might to break through that rope, they could not do so. As they grew older, they stopped trying. And now that they're full adults, very large animals, they don't try. And the only reason that the elephants weren't breaking free and escaping from the camp was because over time, they adopted the belief that it just was not possible. And the moral of the story is that no matter how much the world tries to hold you back, always continue with the belief that what you want to achieve is in fact possible. Believing you can become successful is the most important step in achieving it. And so when I graduated from my undergraduate with a biomedical engineering degree, my mother, my lovely mother, gave me this. And this is a toy elephant with a string attached to it. To remind me, thank you, thank you. To remind me of what I was not. I was not an elephant with a rope attached to its leg. I was someone who believed in myself and believed that I could be successful, and no matter what, I would never be the elephant with the rope attached. And I have no children, so I like to give this elephant to one of the graduates. And I hope that serves as a reminder to you and your classmates that you are not elephants with ropes attached to you. You have believed in yourself, you have arrived at this moment because you knew you could be successful, and you will continue to be successful. And always remember what Samuel Clemens said, 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things that you did not do than by the things that you did. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Rear Admiral Swartz. Graduates, we are now at the moment you have been working towards so hard, the conferral of your degrees. Ladies and gentlemen, the degree Doctor of Medicine is awarded to those who have successfully completed a rigorous course of study at an allopathic medical school. Will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Medicine please rise? Chancellor Wilcox, as Dean of the School of Medicine, I have the honor to present the candidates who have met all requirements for a Doctor of Medicine degree and are deemed worthy of this distinction?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Medicine, with all the insignia, rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Dr. Michael Duarte, Senior Associate Dean for Clinical Affairs, will introduce the graduates.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to present our doctoral degree recipients who will be hooded by Associate Dean Emma Simmons and Senior Associate Dean Neil Schiller. Our Doctor of Medicine degree recipients are Marian Altamarino, Mina Amin, Austin Anderson, Alexander William Arena, Nada Awad, Maher Bleibel, Eric Carpio, Priya Chakrabarti, Anthony Choi, Josiah Chung. Chad Correa. Lisa Dow. Crystal Ditas. Pooja Siddharth Desai. Michelle Dilly. Rima Gatnikar. Patricia Guan. Jennifer Hine. Myra A. Hernandez Schulte. Mark Adrian Halado. G. Alden Holmes. Cindy Tofik Hudson. Park William Hudson. Alan Wynn. Michael Ibrahim. Elena Jordan. Vincente Philip Lam. Kristen Lavelle. William Leon. Valerie Lauren Liu. Eric Jacob Liao. Tatiana Manchenkov. Lukman Nasuf. David Ng. Edgar Ortega. Devin Pandya. Dustin James Plowman. Joshua Shane Poole. Elaine Minyoung Rowe. Sarah Romani. Madeline Janet Maceda Soriano. Mark Sueyoshi. Morvarid Tavasoli. Jay Thetford. Michelle Tom. Catherine Sy. Timothy Vu. Laura Wilson. Joshua Wynn. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the presentation of graduates. Please join me in congratulating them.
Congratulations, graduates. I would now like to take a moment to recognize the special service of those among our graduating class, among our student body, among our faculty and staff, and greater community who have and are serving in the U.S. military. Please stand. We are proud to have in the class of 2018 two active duty members of the military. Let's give a round of applause in recognition of these special And now, I would like to introduce Dr. Paul Lyons, Senior Associate Dean for Medical Education, who will administer the Hippocratic Oath.
First day and last day. Outstanding. You look better now than you did then. And you looked pretty good then. Graduates and physicians in the audience, please rise to recite the UCR School of Medicine's Hippocratic Oath. The oath may be found on page 3 of your program. Those are, in fact, quite a mighty burden. Please read along with me. Today, I begin my profession as a physician. As such, I will dedicate my life's work to improving the health and well-being of my patients and to the prevention of human suffering as a basic human right. As I continue my studies in the art and science of medicine, I will not lose sight of the importance of integrity and honor. I will use the skills and knowledge I have gained to heal and, above all, do no harm. I will honor always the profession of medicine, be gracious to my colleagues, counsel them when needed, and help sustain them in our shared service to humanity. I embark on this pathway having benefited from many pillars of support: faculty, mentors, and peers. Just as I have learned from those who preceded me, I will contribute to the growth of those who succeed me in the practice of medicine. I will remain cognizant of the limits of my knowledge, seek counsel when appropriate, and always pursue a path to better serve my patients, their families, and my community. Among the attributes most respected in physicians, I will embrace compassion, empathy, ethics, and honesty. My service as a healer and my relationships with my peers and colleagues will not be adversely affected by race, ethnicity, religion, nationality, age, physical or mental ability, financial or social status, sexual orientation, or gender identity. I will be a strong advocate for patients in need and strive for justice in the care of the sick and the underserved. I will keep in strict confidence anything I see or hear of the lives of my patients. I understand the sacred trust that will be bestowed upon me as a physician. As such, I will hold myself above any wrongdoing or malice and never tolerate deception or fraud. In being true to this oath, I freely promise to uphold the finest traditions within the practice of medicine. Thank you. Please be seated. And it's my honor to be your first colleague ever to say, welcome, doctors.
Thank you, Dr. Lyons. And now, members of the class of 2018 would like to close with a special reflection, recited in their native languages. This reflection represents the shared vision of the class to serve all patients to the very best of their abilities. And it symbolizes our mission to train a diverse cadre of physicians to serve our diverse communities. Will the students offering this reflection please join me at the podium? Please listen carefully to the different languages united in one common mission. Students, tell us your language, then say the phrase.
English. May we leave here to cure when possible, to care always.
Spanish. Que salgamos de aquí para curar cuando sea posible, para cuidar siempre.
Marathi. आम्ही इथून गेल्यावर रुग्णांवर उपचार करू आणि सगळ्यांची काळजी घेऊ.
Korean. 우리는 이제 이곳을 떠나 가능한 때 치료하며 항상 돌보아 주려고 합니다.
Vietnamese. Sau khi rời khỏi mái trường này bằng tất cả sự tận tụy của người thầy thuốc, Chúng tôi luôn hết lòng quan tâm trong việc chữa trị bệnh nhân.
Tagalog. Sa ating pag-alis, naway makapaghilom hanggat maaari at palaging makapag-alaga.
Thai ต่อจากนี้ไปเราจะรักษาและดูแลเอาใจใส่อย่างดีตลอดไป
Japanese 私たちは心から旅立ち治療に力を尽くします
فارسی امیدوارم روزی که از اینجا میرم بتونم درمان کنم و همیشه اهمیت بدم
Cantonese 希望我們循醫學院畢業後能盡力醫人，希望關心人。
Arabic. فلنغادر هذا المكان سعينا للشفاء عند الإمكان وللعناية دائما.
Mandarin. 希望我们从医学院毕业后，能尽力医治人，随时关心人。
Let it be so. Let us go forth.
Thank you, Dr. Schiller. Success in medical school depends on support from friends and family. Graduates, please join me in thanking all those who have helped you reach this day. Before we conclude, I would like to recognize the many volunteers who have given up their evening so that we can enjoy this beautiful ceremony. Please join me in thanking them. And now to conclude this evening, Fola Sade, Mabon Lale, Aodela will lead us in singing our alma mater, Hail Fair UCR. The words are displayed on the video screen. Will everyone please stand?
Please join me in singing our alma mater. UCR fair alma mater, jewel of old UC. Fiat lux a shining vision, light to set minds free. Seeking ever, yielding never, old Scots near and far. Waft our love back to the highlands, hail fair UCR. Orange trees blooming in the highlands, Boytow chimes ring clear. Standing tall twixt mount and desert, Scots all hold her dear. Seeking ever, yielding never, old Scots near and far. Waft our love back to the highlands, hail fair UCR.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this evening. Please remain in your seats until the administrative party, faculty, and graduates have recessed. Immediately following the ceremony, we hope that you will join us for a celebratory reception out on the patio. Thank you.